Hey, what's up guys? How you doing? It's ToneLoc here, and it's with a heavy heart that I bring you guys the tragic story of Cliffy B and Boss Key. Cliff Bleszinski is pretty much an icon in this industry, whether you like him or not. He's pissed off a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie, but he's also worked really hard to bring us some really cool video games. So prior to Boss Key, Cliff had worked at some very prestigious gaming firms and development teams. Cliff started working at Epic Games. He began working on a game called Jazz Jackrabbit, and no, I'm not making this up, which quickly became Epic's highest-selling game, so this landed him a position to work on Unreal down the road. After that, he consulted for an action-adventure game called Rune, and then he came back to Epic Games when an opportunity for game designer opened up for Gears of War. Cliff worked on Gears 1, 2, and 3, which were some of the most successful games for Microsoft. But as the years went on, Cliff's relationship with Epic during this time became really jaded, as he says. I could pitch the most amazing idea to anyone back when I was at Epic towards the end, and they'd be like, I just don't buy it. Perhaps he just wanted too much from Epic, or maybe his colleagues wanted to play it safe, that Epic wasn't willing to take any risks anymore to think outside the box or make some innovative games. Whatever the case though, it just didn't sit well with Cliff. Cliff had always been a dreamer and had been drawing up concepts for new video games since a teenager. So that kind of attitude for a man full of ideas and energy surely must have made him question his position at the company. After a long tenure at Epic, which totaled 20 years, he left the company to take a break and potentially to retire. Cliffy B went into hiding for a little while before announcing that he was coming out of this retirement to make video games once again. He would go on to co-found Boss Key Productions and head development on a new free-to-play arena shooter codenamed Blue Streak, which would later become LawBreakers. No trailer was provided for this game. In fact, Cliff stated otherwise. Boss Key Games won't use a fake CG trailer showing quote-unquote gameplay. This statement was an obvious knock to industry-wide practices of hyping upcoming games with unrealistic trailers, ones that did not include any gameplay. Cliff had always been vocal about this practice in the past, and many gamers stand behind him. Trailers always carry the danger of misrepresenting the game that they in fact should be representing properly. Cliff had become infamous for speaking out against not only industry-wide bad practices, but his own naysayers. Developing somewhat of a bad boy persona, Cliff often took a very love it or leave it vibe to his behavior during interviews at gaming conventions and social media. His demeanor could often come across as pretty cocky, one-sided, and entitled, as if everyone just owned him something.
You're talking about what assets were going in the game, but I remember the trips to Europe, Croatia, and New York and whatnot. I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh, here we go again, because I decided in between the influencer event and E3 to take the family to Disneyland.
You know, I want to be the rated R version for all these kind of PG rated shooters.
You're like, I want to make another $1 billion IP.
He's also no stranger to argumentation and fighting, once calling out his prior employer for allegedly stealing employees from Boss Key. Many people in this industry do not like this attitude and don't really look fondly down on him. I actually met Cliff at E3 a long time ago and he was really nice. Whether or not he is truly worthy of being hated or just it's a fabrication by trolls in the media is up to debate. Whatever the case though, Cliffy B has calmed down quite a bit if you follow him on Twitter since the failing of his studio Boss Key Productions. They initially released LawBreakers in August of 2017 and it quickly bombed. I played the beta, and I made a video on it, claiming that it was likely going to fail. I had just had this hunch, considering that it had a massive Overwatch stigma and it was being released in the dead hot heat of summer. LawBreakers stood no chance at developing its own identity and becoming a good game. Instead of being proud to be compared to one of the most successful games of all time, Overwatch, they defended their own game in a way that made them look bad. They assumed the industry would call them an Overwatch clone, and they acted like it.
$29.99, none of that $60 multiplayer only bullshit.
Interview after interview, they defended their game and tried to tell the world that they were different, but the story never ended like that. LawBreakers was never able to shake the Overwatch stigma attached to it, as if it was a tattoo that could never be washed off. A year went by of lackluster sales and a player pool that could not fill up a bathtub, let alone the ocean needed to compete with a very packed team-based shooting genre that was saturating the market, all trying to compete with Overwatch. These games were everywhere, each trying to cash in on the hero shooter, but none doing so like Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch. The rest remained buried in early graves alongside LawBreakers. Money started to become a problem for the company and panic soon broke out. LawBreakers suffered from bad marketing and they needed to make a new game that could be supported by a big-time publisher. But given their questionable reputation, would any publisher give them the time of day and support to make a brand new video game and give them the money they needed? The answer turned out to be no, hell no, as Boss Key scrambled last minute to put together a game that they themselves would publish and develop. They saw the Battle Royale fever pouring in, so they quickly developed a quick alpha of the game called Radical Heights to cash in on this popularity. Of course, Radical Heights was to be the last flop for the company, as they essentially did the opposite of what you should be doing as a video game maker. They just threw a bunch of half-baked ideas into a pre-alpha product, put it on Steam, and hoped that it would magically sell 1 million copies? That kind of idealism is rarely a good idea, as players today are vocal about what they like and what they do not like. We have Steam refunds, we have Reddit, we have all these comment chains and sections. We can respond to what we like and what we do not like, and there's just no getting around that today. You cannot release a piece of crap to the market and expect it to do well and expect people to just go along with the ride. The early playtesters for Radical Heights spoke out about its huge flaws, its copycat-like gameplay, and the fact that it was barely a game. More importantly though, Boss Key failed to realize that the market had already been tapped by the time Fortnite and PUBG came around. People are loyal to what they love and will only drop their favorite games for one that is actually better, and of course, Radical Heights was not. It was just a bunch of garbage. Yeah, it had some potential, but potential isn't a game. A game is a game. So Radical Heights would soon join LawBreakers inside Steam's dead game purgatory, and the company soon closed down. And that's where we are today. Many people in this industry do not like Clifford B because he has said some stupid stuff and he has done some stupid stuff. But you know what? We've all done stupid stuff. Many people go through life succeeding at everything they do, and when they fail, they can't understand why. A failure is a great life lesson as it teaches you what not to do, and that is valuable knowledge. We shouldn't be chasing popular ideas, releasing half-finished games to the market, copying other genres, and thinking we are beyond reproach. Making a video game is a creative process where we should all be striving to pursue what's relevant, yet our own, what can be profitable and innovative, games that can stand on their own 2 feet. I believe that Cliffy B forgot about that somewhere along the line. He's an icon in this industry, good or bad, but I do hope he comes back someday because he is incredibly talented in the right environment and with the right attitude. So that's pretty much it, guys. Rest in peace for Boss Key and Cliffy B for the time being. We'll see what happens with him in the future. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and thumbs it up and maybe comment down below. Let me know what you think. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys in a few days with our next video. Peace, love, and happiness until then.